good.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, Davide.
Chris, Wolf, awesome. How many people? Hi there.
Davide, I took your lead and I went and I deleted. Well, I backed up first, but I deleted my whole Rapid Weaver sync folder and started fresh.
Don't take my leads ever again.
Yeah, it helped, man. This one helped. I had so many stacks I never used and plugins that were just, so it's all clean and pretty now.
Awesome.
Sweet. How's everyone doing today?
Okay.
Good. Very
Sweet.
good, thank you.
Shipped a couple nice little updates this morning. Oh, is Gary here? No, Gary's not here. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
PageSafe had a weird esoteric bug if you were managing passcodes with it, but that's all fixed now, so that's good. And then Toggler, if you have the new swatch pack from Foundation 6, the swatch pack that's in beta, I fixed Toggler so that you can actually toggle multiple things. That was actually the original intent, but I had a bug that would only do the last one. So now it actually works how I intended it to work.
I was about to write you a message about it yesterday.
Oh, really? Yeah. I can I can show that off real quick. I have a really simple example. Okay.
Actually, last Friday at the Hangout, we did some nice SVG maps with that toggle feature. So when you hover a state,
really?
the background of the entire section turns to the color of that state.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, you missed a pretty good hangout, Joe.
Damn it.
Wow. Had to go on vacation.
The cat's away.
Yep. Sounds like a fun one.
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, let's see if we go to Toggler. This is like a crazy simple, not stylistic example at all, but it just shows what you can do. So when I click on this button, there's a block grid that just adds a black background to it. Okay, and as you see here, I click on the button and it adds it to all four things at the same time, right? I know there was some confusion about how to use the Toggler, and obviously before I release it, officially release it at least, I'll do a video for each of the new swatches. So especially Toggler, I can understand it could be a little confusing, but once you understand it, it's not too bad.
Took us half an hour to get it.
So just a quick explanation. So if you go to the Toggler stack, up here is the normal like swatch selector thing. And this is what you want to actually apply the new class to, or the thing you want to toggle a class on and off of. Okay. So the simplest use case here is just putting in a class, right? So I have a block grid here, okay, with 4 different cells. And if you notice here, I applied a height to it. So each one has a height of 128. Okay. And then we have my class of change, and it's the same thing on all of them. So I have the change class, okay, on all of these. And so that's how this toggler is going to target these 4 elements, is with that. Obviously, you can do other things, like you can use elements. So if you want to, target all buttons or menu items or sub menu items or whatever, you can do it that way too. Okay, but the easiest way is just to use a class. Then you can do parent class as well, but you guys already know how to do that. Okay, so next up is the trigger. Okay, so the trigger here is, this is what you want to actually trigger the adding of those classes. Okay, so in here I have a trigger class called Toggler, and I added that. In this case, it's a button. Okay, So here on this button, I added the class toggler. Okay. And you could either do on hover or on click. Okay. So if we wanted to see on hover, and then down here, the toggle class, this is the actual class that is going to be toggled. So on all these particular ones here, I'm toggling the BG black class, which if you're familiar is a utility class to add a black background. Okay. So again, once I change this to hover, so once I hover over this button, it's going to add the black BG black class to all of these change classes. Okay. So remember, I changed that from click to hover. So when I hover over this button, there we go.
So what would be the most used case for this? Like if people want to,
I mean, this is a this isn't like you're going to use this for this one thing, right? I mean, this is an extremely generic tool that you can use for a million different things. I mean, it's just, it's the ability to apply a class to something by clicking or hovering on something else. Okay. And that could, maybe you want to, and by adding a class, you can then, with swatches, style that class any way you want. So it's the way of styling something or even hiding something. Maybe it's a show hide thing, right? Maybe you want to show something when you click on something else, or hide it, or change the opacity, or change the background color, or I mean, there's seriously a million things that you can do with this. So it's really hard for me to, to say, you're going to use this for this one thing. It's just the ability to style things based on interacting with something else. So does that make sense? I know this is probably going to be really hard for some people because they like the things where it's like, this product does this one thing, but that's not what this is. This is something that you as you gain probably more experience, you'll be like, hey, okay, I want to click this button. And when I click this button, I want to change this thing over here, right? Or maybe it's not a button. Like buttons are the obvious example, but maybe when you hover over an image, you want to, change the color of the text over here or something like that, right? Or, and obviously you can also, so in this example, here, let's do a different example here. Show you some animation stuff that you can do with this. So right now it's changing this to BG black. Okay, here, let's just add this. Let's just do something really simple. We'll do this red. Do red. And then we'll do a background. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Background. Blue. Okay. Okay. And then we'll do transition. We'll change to background, play, okay, and we're going to target the red class. Okay. Okay. So let me change this up a little bit. Okay. So I have a BG red. I have a background swatch set to the red class, and then I have a background swatch set to the blue color, and it's just setting a class of blue. Okay. And then I created a transition swatch, which helps us transition from one state to another. So it's basically like animating. We're going to animate the background color. So we're going to notice that it fades from red to blue. Okay. So let's go ahead and I'm going to change all of these to be, we'll just leave the change in there, red. Okay. So now I've added the red class. Okay. And you see that they're all red. Okay. And then instead of toggling this BG black class, I'm going to toggle the blue class. Okay, so we're going to toggle this blue class, and I'm going to keep the click. Okay, just so it's easier on click. So now when I click this button, okay, if you notice here, let's make those a little bit taller. Oh, why aren't those taller? That's weird. Whatever. I'm not going to try to debug that. Whatever. So if you see that, okay, you'll see that it just doesn't change right away. Okay. It actually kind of like fades into that blue, right?
Yeah.
But cool. Just by toggling this button. Okay. So I mean, you could do this again. There's all kinds of things you can change all of these properties. You know, you can change the gradient. Let's do another interesting one. Here, I'm going to steal something from over here. I'm going to copy this. Let's go over here. Let's go ahead and paste that. Okay, and then I need the swatch page. Let's see, this was circles and frost. So we need circles and frost. We'll go over here. Okay. Okay. So here we have slightly different example. Okay. And let's do this. Make these independent so they're different. Let's just look at this really quick. So here I have this this background. Okay. It's pretty cool. It uses the gradient swatch. It also has a frost. I think I did this on last week's live stream, right? Okay. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to change this background a little bit when I hover on this button. Okay. Again, I'm using a button, but it could be you hover over a link or you hover over an image or you click on it, whatever. Okay. But I'm going to change this background. Okay. Let's see. Let's do this one down to the bottom.
Good.
Oops. I want to move this one. Okay. So let's we're going to target circles. Okay, because this this particular container that contains that gradient is called circles. Okay, so that's what I want to target. Okay, so we're going to target circles, and we're going to add circles dash hover. Okay, a class, and this is going to toggle off of toggler 2. Okay, so this will be a different. Make this button, make it toggler 2, and we'll just add toggler. Oops. Toggler number 2. Okay. Okay. So now what this is going to do is when we click on toggle 2, it's going to add a class to this called circles-hover. So now we need to define what in the heck circles-hover is going to do. Okay. And what I want to do is I'm going to change the I'm going to change the background position. Okay. So I'm going to basically move this. Okay. And just to kind of see, let's do like oh, we need to make it bigger. Hold on one second. Let's do like 150. Yeah. Okay. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm scaling that background so it's larger than the container. So it's 150%. And then we're going to animate that to go from that state to that state. Oops. To that state. Okay. So we're going to start off with left top. So now we're going to add a new thing here called background props. Okay. And we're going to target circles dash hover. That's what I did, right? Circles dash hover. Yep. Okay. And I'm going to change the background position to be right top. Okay. And then for fun, we're also going to add a transition in there so that it doesn't just, actually, I'm not going to add the transition right now. And watch this. Let's refresh this. Okay. So if I click toggle 2, you'll see how that background changes, but it doesn't animate right now, right? It just changes immediately when I click on toggle number 2. So now we want to animate it. So now we're going to add a transition. Okay. And we want to animate the background position. Okay. And it's going to be on circles. And it's going to animate over 1 second. Sure. Let's preview that. Click. Boop. See that?
Yeah.
It animates now.
That's pretty cool, Joe.
Yeah. It's
I mean, we could go on for days on various things that we could dream up on to do, right? I mean, again, this is a very general purpose. It just allows you to change something from one state to another by adding a class.
So is it possible to set it to a one-time action?
Oh, so once it toggles, it doesn't change.
If you click it that it changed one time and then it locks to this position.
It locks to that. Yeah, I think we could do that. I can add an option in the toggler stack to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
It's possible with the animate swatch because there's the option to set it to one time. But if you change the color,
yes,
maybe you like to lock into this color.
Yeah. Yep. In fact, before I forget, you know me, I will forget. I'm going to log that feature request really quick. That should be pretty simple to do.
I can see it would be a good idea if, to be able to reveal a title or more information about a photograph. So when you click on the photograph, you get all that text coming up, showing up below. That'd be a nice idea, I think. Yeah,
totally. Yep. Yeah, you can have a caption on top and just change the opacity of it. So it starts at opacity 0. When you hover over, it changes the opacity to 1. And then you transition that and it'll fade it in. Exactly.
Yep. That's a pretty good idea.
Oh.
Joe, last week I was trying to use Toggler to trigger a layout rule. Am I beating myself up?
You're trying to trigger a layout rule.
Yeah. Show this image or show that image from a user's picking a button.
Oh, you mean a layout rule in like blog list?
Exactly. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that won't work because the blog list, the layout rules are all dependent upon attributes that are already in the blog post, right? So, but we could do something simple. It actually is possible, right? So you want to show and hide something based on something someone clicked. I mean, that's possible too. Girl, we'll give that example. This is turning into Adventures with Toggler. Okay.
Sounds kinky, actually.
Okay. I'm going to do something very rudimentary. I'm just going to, we have 4 blocks right here. Okay. I'm going to, when I click this button, I'm going to show I'm going to show 2 of them and hide 2 of them. Okay. So inside Total CMS, there is a utility class called hide. Okay. So on these last 2, I'm going to set that to be hide. Okay. So when you load this, we don't see the last 2. Okay. They're hidden. Okay. I'm going to, instead of here, before we were toggling this blue class, I'm now going to toggle the hide class. Okay. Oh, you don't notice it because the other two are hidden. So they're, hold on one second. Let's add some content in here so you can see it actually works. This was probably a semi-bad example, but we'll make it work. Here, let's actually do something different. Let's add a header in there instead. And we'll do there's content alignment. Oh, I don't have content alignment in a block grid? Man, that developer needs to be fired.
I've been saying
it.
Fire this guy. Jesus Christ. Rinky dink operation around here. B C
God, and he can spell.
D. Okay, so now I have A and B, and if I click on this toggle, it shows C and D.
Oh, very cool.
Right? So that's a way of, I kind of manipulated it, because if you notice, like the oops, for some reason my video stopped. What the heck? It used my camera my new camera got disconnected. Interesting. Not sure why that is. Oh well. You'll get my old camera. Okay. So basically I kind of manipulated this by pre-adding that hide class to two of them, right? But then the toggle will check if it's already there and remove it, right? So you can kind of use this to toggle things. So if you were to do that, a similar thing in the blog list, you could toggle a class that would show and hide something. Does that make sense, Bill?
I think so, yeah. So I could conceivably have picture A and picture B and only show one of them.
Yes. Yep, exactly.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
That's a pretty cool idea for before and afters too, for sure.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, something like
fitness industry.
something like this, where here I'll show you a slightly different example, like, because these are immediate, right? It's just immediate. It doesn't like fade in or doesn't have any sort of animation or anything like that. And for this particular thing, it probably wouldn't work, like fading one in out and fading the other one in and kind of replacing it. Not sure that will work. Maybe if you use like Target and place them on top of each other and then change the opacity, that could work. But here, let's show you what I'm talking about here. So I'm gonna remove this hide from these two. Okay, and let's use opacity. Why not? Let's do that. Okay, we'll go from okay, we can see you. Okay, and we can hide you. Okay, and hide you is opacity 0. Okay, so actually we probably don't even need to see you because the default's 1. But if we do, so this one's going to be hide -u. Okay. Right, did that work? Hide you, hide you. Oh, and then the toggle, we want to toggle hide -u. Oh, and then we could use transitions. So then we could do here we'll just do, where is it? Do I have an existing transition? I don't. Okay, we'll just add one.
Below the red.
Below the, oh, there it is. Cool. Red. Thank you. We'll just transition all. It's fine. Boom. Change that from background to all. There you go. So as you see there, before, it was different in that the C and the D replaced these.
Yeah.
Okay. Why? How come this doesn't do that? Okay. It's because we're changing different things, right? Before, we were telling the browser to hide those elements as if they weren't on the page at all. Okay. And inside, now this is in a block grid. If I hide A and B, C and D are just going to shift over. Okay. But by changing just the opacity, they're still there. They're just invisible. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you see two very different effects here. It just depends on what you wanted to do. So anyway, that was fun.
Well, I like that animated gradient, Joe. It reminded me of the product that I used before that you even showed that, because I didn't know where to find it in the RapidWeaver community. I was using, I think it was a Spark. It was an animated header and animated divider on Foundry that I was basically using inside of different projects to simulate that.
Oh, okay.
But it didn't have the tweaking of nature, but it was basically animating gradients. Hey, here's 4 gradients. You choose those in your color swatches, and then it would just kind of rotate through those. And then you set the duration of time, but you were restricted to just, hey, here's a header on a website. You got things moving around, so you had to watch your color, but it would just rotate through them in a gradient fashion. But here you're doing menu items, you're doing transitions, you're doing different shapes, you're doing different animations.
You have full control. Exactly.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Yep. We develop quality products over here.
That's really cool. It's really cool. It's really tweaky, and I think it's architecturally just, you aren't missing anything. You know, what do you want to do?
Yep,
there's
exactly.
Request.
100%.
Joe, is it possible to build a library with settings for swatches? So you saw if you have a simple animation, you have to use maybe 5 or 6 swatches that you have to set up. And at the moment, I do it with this option to build a template. But
yeah, templates are probably the best way to do that.
It's not very, very good sorted because you have to search for it and
so I think templates for right now are our best bet. So like if you like create something that you like and you're like, this is a cool animation, but it requires, 5 swatches, right? Yeah, I think right now the easiest thing is probably chuck it in a pen and then create a template out of that pen.
Yeah, that's
right?
what I do.
Yeah. I think that's that's probably the best thing that we can do right now.
After a while, you have so much templates and you have to search for it, and maybe it's easier to rebuild it than to search for this template.
Interesting. That's why when you create a template, you have the access to the name as well as here. Let me share. So let's just create. I don't know. Let me add a pen into here. Right, and let's just do like just some of these. We'll just chuck these in here. Okay. And then if we create a template out of this, right? So if we click on this to create a template, okay. Now what's important is with templates, you only have access to this stuff when you first create the template. So you can't modify it afterwards. Okay. So like you have the template name. So you could do like, maybe if you came up with some sort of, scheme, right? It's, I don't know, cool, hover, maybe something like that. Okay. Other things that you could do is you can give it a subtitle, which allows you to see. So if if we click on this, are this down here. Okay. Obviously the author is there as well. And then the tag. So the first tag, okay, will be used as the group. Okay. So like this one here, I have Foundation 6 and the little caret text content. That group is actually the very first tag. Okay. So then you can kind of start organizing your own templates, right? So let's just do this one of,
Can I create a new group So
yes, right. So like, right example. So I'm creating a live stream template. Okay. This group doesn't exist. Okay. So now I'm going to go back. Okay. It's created. So if I go over here, there, live stream template, and there's my hover swatch animation.
okay, that helps a lot.
Okay. So, so by giving it a tag, that will group it. And then obviously you can give it, a name as well. And again, like I didn't add author or subtitle, but if you were to do that, it would show up here. Also,
okay.
if you notice, there were 2 tag fields. The second tag field, it's always invisible, but that field is searchable as well.
Okay.
So like if I tagged this with swatch hover or something like that, I could search for that. And even though I can't see it anywhere, that second tag field is searchable.
Oh.
Okay.
That was a really good question because
maybe
there's so many.
That would be great if we could collapse this features or
collapse these groups.
these groups. Yes.
Okay.
That would be great features for stacks.
Sure. I can see that.
Yeah, that was a good question, Wolf, because I've got too many. I see it. The logic is just so hard to find things.
So another question that comes up every now and then is sometimes you open up a project and you probably have a ton of templates, or if you go into externals and you have like 50 externals here and you're like, I didn't create any of these. What the heck? Right? Like how the hell? Like, unfortunately, I had that problem this week in this project, and I fixed it. Here, let me see if I can recreate it. Hold on one second. Oh crap, I trashed all those project files. Hold on one second. Let me see if I have another project file. Oops, customer here. I still have that. And let me open up this project. Let's see if this project has any externals in it. Of course it doesn't. All right. Anyway, I'll explain the problem. I shouldn't have fixed it myself so I can show it on a live stream. Obviously, I open up like a ton of project files, okay, from other customers, right? From you guys send me a project file and I open it, right? And the project file that I was just showing is, I call it my sandbox. It's like the project file. I have that project file open like 24/7. It's my play box, right? I test things out. I try to mimic bugs that you guys find or issues you do, right? So that project file is like always open on my machine. But let's say Davide sends me a project file and I open it, and his project file has some externals that he created, okay? There's currently a bug, and I finally got Isaiah to see that. I came up with a reproducible issue for him to replicate last week, where if I open up Davide's project file and I have my sandbox project file open, his externals get copied into my sandbox project. Okay. So now imagine for me, like I'm opening people's project files all day long. Like, so I had a list of like 100 externals, that got, copied from different project files that I had no clue where they came from. Like I had never created these things. They were just there. So the way to clean those up, if you want to clean them up, is make sure you only have one project file open that you want to clean up. And then you select those externals in the library and you right click and just say remove from library. And if you restart RapidWeaver, they should be gone. Now they will be gone. They won't be gone if that external is actually used in that project file somewhere. So, but if it's not used in that project file, it will be removed. Okay. Again, Isaiah acknowledged that there is that issue now, and he's going to debug that and hopefully get that fixed in the next release, so that externals don't get copied from one open project file to another open project file. So that's something that was interesting that I found last week. Did I help you out, Davide? Because I know Davide had that issue. He's the one that brought it up to me.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I just deleted the entire.
Yep. Yeah. You don't have to do it one at a time. You can just select all of them and just say remove from library. I personally don't really use externals. I don't know. I see the benefit in them potentially, but there's also danger in externals as well. So
I never use them either.
Yeah.
That's exactly the reason why, because I don't trust myself with it.
But templates, on the other hand, I think templates are crazy useful, and hopefully, now that you guys saw the trick of creating the groups and the tags, they'll become a little bit more useful for you guys.
It's a great tip. No, thanks.
Cool, sweet.
And do you have to do this for every project you find a problem with, or just with one that all of them are gone?
I don't know. My guess is you would have to do it for every project file that potentially has them, because that data is stored in the project file.
Yeah.
So
Funny that in this era, even externals can be contagious, right?
Got to put a mask on, right?
Yeah. You gotta shoot project file.
Apparently, I saw a report. You have to have 2 or 3 masks on at least to get to like 90% or whatever.
I saw that. Oh my gosh. Suffocation after the third.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Just
so
use a plastic
dumb.
bag. It's proven to work.
Oh my gosh.
I actually did see a woman the other day. She had 2 masks on. It was like, although I think for her it was, she had like one of the, ugly kind of medical masks underneath, and then she had like a beautiful, pretty, fabric one on top. So I'm assuming she did it for looks rather than.
So it's a fashion choice. No?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They got the transparent mask with the LEDs that they're building in, and they're trying to simulate the face shield.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Star Wars, I'm telling you, this is happening. The masks.
So I was up in the mountains over this past weekend, and they required you had to have a face mask on even on the mountain.
Were you in Muir Woods? That's where I was last week.
I was in Tahoe.
Oh, okay.
And actually, to be I never really wore a face mask skiing. Just some people wear them just to keep your face warm, but I have to say, man, it was cold as hell, and having that face mask on was great. Get my face warm.
Joe, I see you've got your agent outfit on tonight.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, everybody. Now, I've got a problem with agent, so I'm glad you've got your agent outfit on tonight.
Let me get my gun, right? The little Nerf gun I had in that video.
You see, my problem at this point in time is that some of my pages are bilingual, so there is an English part and Afrikaans part.
Mm-hmm.
With agent, that works very well. But some of my pages are only English, and some of them are only Afrikaans.
Okay.
And then I started to pick up some problems. And I can show you if I quickly, I've actually sent you an email to see the project on actually live, but I can show it also now quickly.
Okay.
But I think it's going to take a bit of time. I don't know if there's some other questions that people would like rather to ask before we spend time on that one.
Go for it.
Okay. Let me then just quickly share the screen.
Yeah.
I believe everybody can see that now.
Yes.
The first thing that I see, I just want to show you quickly what I mean by, and even some of my items are not equal to both languages. So some Afrikaans items are more and some English items are lesser.
Okay.
Especially on the menu type. If I'm looking into, this is now my Afrikaans menu.
Mm-hmm.
You can see there's quite a number of items there.
Mm-hmm.
If I switch to English on the very same one, you can see it's quite lesser.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't have those items on the same page because it does give me some problems.
Okay.
The other problem that I have while I'm on the English page, if I'm clicking on, you can still see it's not changing while I'm on English, it doesn't change those.
Okay.
I haven't used the specific concepts that you are sharing in your video.
Mm-hmm.
To use macros. If I had macros, that would have been changed, but the bottom would have not changed because I haven't put that yet into a Lang rule.
Okay.
But that gives me a problem based on the fact that those items are lesser. than, for instance, in the stance of Afrikaans pages. So now, if I, for instance, clicks on a welcome page, you can see it changes to Afrikaans there. Then I have to go to English first and back to that, and then back to English to get this English. Now, what I've done in the meantime, unfortunately, I can't show you the full project file anymore because I have started to change that. In the meantime, what I've done is, on this one specifically, is I've taken all my menu items and I've put that into the Lang rules. So each of those items are belonging to a specific Lang rule, Afrikaans, English. And that's why these are working well now at this point in time. And that's coming from someone that suggested I do that from the previous Hangout that we had on Friday.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because you have to have a Lang rule because you're going to have different menu items. It's not just translating them. Yeah, you would have to have a Lang rule for each one.
So, but this now, you can see immediately it does provide me with some challenges. I can go back to English. So those first three, for instance, and that one, those three are separate pages. Okay. So it works well. But when I get with some sub menus, it starts to change, and it makes it a little bit more difficult. But what I've done now, I brought in the RWML, which I preferred not to be doing, but it started working now for me a little bit better. I can quickly also share that quickly to show you quickly what is happening there. Just want to get that specific project file as well. Let me just open my RapidWeaver here.
Well, just by looking at the way you're using it, by the way, I think there must be something wrong with the way you set up the agent stack.
I think there's a small problem.
I was going to say.
But if I'm looking into this one, if you can just quickly look into this. Now I've started to utilize the RWML.
You stopped sharing your screen, by the way.
Did I not share it?
No.
Then it's coming.
No, not yet. Oh, here we go.
There it goes.
So I just want to show you what's happening here. There's the P, there's the P. So you can see this is automatically, you can see that belongs to RWML. So if I'm clicking here on these different pages, it will start to switch around. And it doesn't give me much problems in terms of, I just want to change this quickly to open it properly.
One question.
So now you can see all of them here. So I'm changing there to English on the button, Afrikaans. All those are changing. So it works very well. All of them, immediately I can get it. And it will change to the specific.
Why don't you show me how you're doing it with Agent?
I go to English. All of those are correct, and it's working quite well now.
Sure.
So what is
why don't
happening?
You show me how you're doing it with Agent.
Yeah. So what is happening is that my menus are Agent, and my pages are RWML.
I don't recommend you use both RWML and Agent. Like, let's stick with one, right? So let's show me how you're doing it with Agent, and then we can figure out. Go to edit mode and show me what you're doing.
Right. So those all. Let me just go back to the other one. You probably will be able to see better. I just want to go out of this one again.
Okay.
I think this one will give you a better idea. I just want to make sure this is the one that I've changed in terms of the menu settings.
Really, how many agent stacks do you use on this side?
Agent, I will have Agent on each page.
One time or multiple times?
Once.
Once, okay.
No, this one is not correct. I will have to go back to the previous one.
So if you change the language, you change the whole page. Is this correct?
Well, my pages are now specifically, except for one or two, are now or Afrikaans or English. So
Willie, I think you closed the project file and then you stopped the share because now it's looking.
I'm opening.
Gotcha.
because I've got many examples and I'm getting confused now between those examples myself now. So let me just go to my specific process here, but you will see there's already some on this one as well, half the way.
Here, share your screen again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
now
it was
reshare it.
frozen. Can you share your screen again?
There it goes.
Yeah.
Can you
Okay.
see?
Perfect. There we go. Okay.
So this is the one that I've got some. This is one that I've posted, so you will see all the page save parts are there.
Okay.
But let me just go to one of those that you can see a bit better how it's been done. I will have to go down to the bottom ones. And then I want to open the menu first. You can see immediately what I've done here. I've put the forms here, your forms with the language select.
Okay.
And I have put the agent rules on top of that. In this case,
So you have agent.
my default language is on top.
Oh, so you're mixing
Oh.
agent and agent lang. Got it.
Yeah.
Now, how come your agent lang stack is only getting displayed on mobile?
On mobile. No, it's on mobile as well as on my main.
Okay. I don't think you should have
Mobile
agent
menu, I've
lang
got
inside of the agent stack. I mean, what's the purpose of that agent stack that's around everything? What's the
Agent
purpose of
one
that?
is the agent one. Let me just go back to that. Is this one that I'm using?
No, I know. Click on that stack though. I know which
That
ones
one
you're
there.
using. Yep. Click on it. All right, what's the purpose of
Yeah, who
this?
built it?
Oh, you're showing you're loading that agent lang just on mobile.
On exactly.
Yeah, it's only a
Oh, so-
mobile load.
What you're saying? Are you saying is that one only belonging to the mobile?
Device right
So
bottom.
yeah, right now, you have. So what you need to do is, I think you need to just delete this entire partial.
So I
to be
can
honest
take
with
those
you.
out. I can take those out, and it can be separate from.
I
the
think all
agent.
you need is one agent lang stack. That's it. You need one agent lang stack. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So not three, and not nested inside agent rules. So yeah,
can
so
just
the
take
agent
off
lang,
that
just move
agent.
it to the top, out of the
Yeah.
normal agent stack. Pick any one. Pick one of the agent lang stacks and move it outside of the agent, outside of that.
The second one, agent lang, the second one.
Yeah, agent lang. Take that, move it to the very top.
Exactly.
Yep, there you go. No, well, yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Inside the.
Okay, so now, so here you want, let's see, you have, so your default language is going to be Afrikaans.
That's right. Yeah. There it
Okay,
is.
so that's what you want. You want your default language to be Afrikaans on the website, correct? Okay, then delete that agent, the other agent stack. Delete that.
This one, yeah.
All of it. No, all of it. You should only
That one.
delete that one. Correct. Delete it.
All of
Okay.
that.
Exactly. That's what you need. That's all you need. So now this defines all the languages that are available on the page. We have your language key is lang, which is fine. Your supported languages are AF and EN, and your default language is Afrikaans.
Okay, that's all I need per page.
That's all you
If
need.
you go back and repost it, it'll automatically update every page when you go back out of that partial.
Exactly. So now when you back out, okay. There we go. Okay,
Before you
so
back out, you
let
might
me
wanna-
now your language select. Your language select, if you noticed before, in the agent lang stack, you had it saved to session default. Okay, that way agent will remember what language the person selected before, correct?
Okay.
Okay. But if you noticed, your form wasn't changing, right? Your form wasn't changing. And the reason for that is when I did this simple demo, I don't know, a couple weeks ago on how to use this to switch languages. If you noticed, the URL always had the lang equals. Okay.
Yeah.
And when agent saves that data to the session, it doesn't always add the lang equals to the URL. Okay. So what that means is in your little form, your lang select partial,
Yeah.
What you need to do is you need to set you need to add a language rule that basically will change the form based on whether or not it is English or Afrikaans, and it will set the default field in that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that's how we will that's how you make sure that language field is always set to what it is. Even if we save it, without changing it to the URLs. Okay.
Okay. So that will imply that I keep my menu as I've done it, with each menu item in a lang rule.
I think that is a smart way to do it, because your menus are very, very different. If your menus were the same, you're just changing the labels to be, something, then you could use either macros or other things, right? But since your menus are completely different, using a language rule to swap out the menus makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and the lang stack I will put on each page. I don't need to, and it can remain as Afrikaans, and then it will show me also the AF and EN, and that will change it automatically.
Yes, correct.
Let me try that and see. Maybe Friday I'll come back if I'm not.
Okay, perfect.
That's awesome.
I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Joe, since the last update, I have in the master style some errors at the bottom. It says I have duplicate index files and duplicate meta tags, but I don't have them.
Yeah. What's the URL to the page?
The URL is www.
Can you put a link in the chat? That would probably make it a little easier.
Oh yes. Even kijken.
Okay.
Index files, PHP, HTML.
I can't even connect to that web page right now. That's weird.
No problem here.
Still not loading, Joe?
Oh, I got a 404. Can't connect to server.
Loading on my side.
Let me try in Chrome.
Yeah, I got a 404 in Firefox, and I've got it loading in Chrome. That was weird.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah,
Chrome
is.
I'm in Las Vegas right now. I'm not sure where you're at.
Sorry for me.
So, so you're getting that error on the homepage?
No, on the. Shall I share the screen?
Sure, share your screen.
I try. I don't know. It's not going well.
Basically, I mean, for the duplicate index thing, so all you need to do is if you go to the URL bar and you type index.html at the end of the thing, if that works, then you know you have an HTML file. And if you type index.php at the end, then you know that the PHP file exists as well. So essentially that error that you're seeing in preview, that's what it does. It attempts to connect to both the HTML and the PHP version. And if it can connect to both, that means that it thinks that you have multiple on the server.
I On the server,
For some odd reason, I can't connect to your website right now. I don't know. I know I've been to it before. I can't connect to it right now for some reason.
I have. I am sure I don't have an HTML file on the server, but in the master style, he tells me I have an HTML file, but I am sure I don't have it on the server.
Unfortunately, I can't. Let me try a different browser here. Let's try Paw.
I'm using Safari and it's no problem at all.
Crazy. I get a connection refused.
It works for me, and if I open it with index HTML, it works. So it shows me something. So you have an HTML file on your server.
Yeah, the HTML is being redirected to a 404 page. Maybe it's in the htaccess files that you redirect something, maybe.
That's what I was thinking too, because it's on the when I add the extension.
Oh, interesting. That could be an interesting idea. Yeah, if you have a htaccess rule that automatically redirects from index.html to index.php or something, that could potentially happen if you've done something like that.
Yeah, I was just thinking, check the SSL site rules in the htaccess file. It seems to be like somewhere there.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's hard for me to help you out more than those hints, since I can't get to it.
Yeah, for me, I live in the Netherlands, just as Jaap, and if I type in index.php, I get the page.
Mm-hmm.
If I add index.html, I get the 404 page. So there must be some redirect, going on.
Oh, I wonder if he gets if it's redirecting to the 404 page. It might not be sending the proper 404, so it thinks it just redirected and the page is good, right? So did you recently set up some 404 redirects in your htaccess file? Yep.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, yeah. Look at that. That could be causing the problems.
Okay.
Okay.
I also get the message duplicate meta text found.
So I'll show you guys the number one reason that happens to most people. Here, let me share my screen really quick. This is the number one reason why this happens to most people is they go ahead and they add SEO meta tags. Okay. And there's by default, it adds an SEO basics. And then what most people do is they'll then go and add a, where is Facebook? Somewhere around here. Facebook. Then they'll add a Facebook one. Okay. This will now generate a duplicate meta tags. Okay. Because if you notice here, this tells you all the meta tags that it creates. Well, there's duplicates because Facebook Open Graph also adds them. So essentially, if you want to start adding things that are outside the basics, like if you want to explicitly add Facebook and you explicitly want to do special stuff in Twitter, because these have a few features that the SEO basics doesn't have. What you need to do is you need to delete SEO basics and add everything that SEO basics was doing manually. Okay, then you won't get the. I don't know if that's what happened with you, but that is what happens 95% of the time when people get that error.
And maybe you should add a warning.
Yeah, add a warning or something like that. Yeah.
Joe, I had the same problem, and we fixed that, and I still get the tags. So I only have the basic on my pages, and I still don't think there's maybe a memory somewhere in RapidWeaver.
So yeah, another thing that I'll show you. So a couple of the things, if you only have the basics. So if you go into SEO, the general settings in your project, you should turn the generate social tags off. Okay.
And also on the pages.
Because what happens is, and then also potentially if you go over here, you could have some things turned on here as well. So you could potentially have it on here. So what happens is RapidWeaver is trying to generate some meta tags for you to be helpful. But then SEO Helper is also, you're telling SEO Helper to generate them. So that's where the duplicate is.
Hello.
So for example, here I just add it to this page really quick. I preview that. I have duplicate meta tags here, right? And it, I forget if I did this. Oh, so another thing, if you want, I don't display this here, but if you open up the dev inspector, it's just Option Command I, and you go to the console. Oh, well, it was there. What the heck? It actually tells you that it tells you the name of the property that's a duplicate. So in this case, robots is a duplicate. And the reason is SEO Basics inserts the robots meta tag, but then RapidWeaver tries to enable it as well with this checkbox. So, but now I've unchecked this, and now that is gone.
Can this warning also indicate which of the two is responsible for the duplicate tags? Like
I can't tell you what's
tags?
responsible for it. I only know that it's there. I can't tell you where in your project file it was actually generated.
Joe, what if you're having multiple languages and you're using agent inside the SEO helper? Do you think in preview mode you might get that message?
No. So if you're using multiple languages, I'd recommend just injecting the language macros into SEO helper. That's one way to do it. Or you can use agent lang to, display or not display different meta tags based on language.
Yeah, sure.
I would not expect to see multiple.
Okay.
Because of that.
I do use the agent language usually. If I remember correctly, I was getting a sign of multiple meta tags, but I'll have to check it out again.
Okay.
I don't get the message on a page. I only get the message in the master style, at the bottom of the master style.
The bottom of the what?
You in RapidWeaver, you have the master style.
Oh, you're talking about when you preview in RapidWeaver?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just previewing inside the browser. So I use Command P, and that previews in the browser. I don't know, for some reason I like using the browser instead of previewing inside RapidWeaver. It's the same thing though. Like if I enable this again, there it's down there inside RapidWeaver.
In the pages, I don't get a warning, but in the master style, I get a warning.
In the partial styles, you get the warning?
In the master style, and in RapidWeaver, at the bottom settings, you have the master style. And in the master style, I get the message duplicate meta tags.
Oh, master styles. Master styles does not work in Foundation. Stop. Don't use it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, master styles in Foundation, that feature does not work with Foundation. That only works if you're using a traditional theme. That's master styles, don't use that if you're using Foundation or Foundry or any stack-based theme. Do not use the master styles feature in RapidWeaver. It does nothing for you.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Joe, I'm struggling with several things. Maybe you can help me.
I saw you join. I was going to ask. I was going to ask because I know you sent me a couple questions.
Yeah. Maybe I'll start with question 2, which is how to make roundings on the filter select in total CMS with Foundation 6, because maybe it's a yes or no answer.
Sure. State the question again. I'm sorry.
Yeah. If you have a blog list, and you put a search bar on top of it, a search field, that is, I'd like to make roundings on that field with Foundation 6.
So you want to add rounding to the search box?
Exactly.
Okay, that should be
possible at all?
Yeah, that could be possible. Here, let's figure it out. So we'll just use this page. So you're doing a blog filter, right?
Yes.
I need CMS core. Okay. So in the blog filter, you're adding a search, Okay. And you want to put rounded corners on the search field. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. No problem. Let me just, I don't need any of these things. Let's just delete these really quick. Okay. Let's just put that in here. Okay. Here, let's just completely just make it totally different. All these other things. Okay. So we need a rounding swatch, and we'll just stick to 10 really quick. Okay. So how do we target this? Okay. How do we get to this field? Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and if we choose form, we could either do form fields, okay, or we could just do an input, okay, form input, because that's what this is, okay. And what we could do is, since this would basically apply a rounding rule to all form inputs. So let's preview, make sure that works. Let me add some, let me add one column into there so it has some. Boom, let's just add some padding. Oh, look at that, it doesn't. Okay, so that does it. I had to apply the bang important, okay, but it added rounded corners, okay. But this here, by doing it this way, the element input, it will do every form field on the entire page. And maybe you don't want that, right? Maybe you only want to affect this one search box. So unfortunately, this search field doesn't have a class, so we can't do that. Even in this blog filter, it doesn't have a class, so we can't target that, okay? But we have a column, okay? So I can apply, let's do like search, field, okay? So I can apply this search field class to this one column, okay? And if I go back to this rounding swatch, I can say parent class search field.
Yep.
Okay. So now this rounding swatch will only apply to form inputs that are inside something called search field, right? So like if I copy and paste this and remove this class from there, you'll see that the top one is rounded and the bottom one isn't.
Yes.
Okay. Because in the bottom one, I removed that search field parent from the one column, but in this other example, it has it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hopefully that should accomplish what you need, right?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I did try the container, but not the one column.
Ah, okay.
So that's the trick, I think. Yeah.
It shouldn't matter if the class is on a one column or a container. It doesn't really matter. Like here, if I do this, I remove it from this one column, right? And I put it on the container. It's still gonna work. Okay. I think maybe some things require a force. Let's see if I. Yeah. See, so this rounding to round this input, it needs to have a force. So that could have been it.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
May the force be with you.
Sweet. What's the next question?
The other one was I tried to make a 16:9 banner in total CMS where the image is always a landscape 16:9 image, even though my customers put in a portrait modus.
Sure. Mm-hmm. The easiest way to do that is using impact.
Yeah, I use impact now, but I wanted to do it with Foundation 6 only. But
okay. I guess, do you have the new swatch pack?
Yeah.
Okay, so the new swatch pack has an aspect ratio swatch. So you would just set the aspect ratio, or I'll do it without a total CMS image right now. I'll just do it with a normal image, but just you can get the idea how to do it. Okay, so let's just delete this. We'll delete this. All right, I have a container. Okay. And we'll just, I'll just call this banner. Okay, so here we're going to do aspect ratio. The default is 16:9. So we'll put a class of banner, okay, in that. And then we'll do a background image. Okay. And on banner, we'll do image. Now for you, instead of doing image, you're going to do total CMS. Okay. But just to keep things simple for right now, we'll just use this background image, put that in there and preview. And now this was always going to be 16:9, and we have a background image.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, the difference for you.
The trick is here the background image.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I think the trick is the background image. I don't use the background image. I just use a normal image.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. You're going to have to use a background image.
Yeah.
If you want to make sure that it's always the same, and it's possible that, parts of the image, if your customer doesn't upload the right size, it will be cropped off.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a problem.
Yeah. It could be
something if you have the portrait image, it's the wrong part of the image. Maybe you see if it's a portrait of a person, you maybe only see the eyes or only see the mouth.
Like for example here, let's do I have a portrait in here? I don't know, let's chuck this is a square image, right? So that might not be what your customer wants, right? But it
definitely
is
not what
their
customer wants.
We use the hide class for this one.
Yeah. Cool. You had a third question, right? What was
I had a third question. I want to make a sidebar that stretches the height of the page. So not the height of the browser, but the height of the content that is on the other column, as it were.
Okay.
And what I do is I give it a color, but if I scroll down at a certain point, it stops right there. So I don't know what I do wrong, but
sure. Okay, so let's just do, and we'll keep the container. It's fine. We'll do it with the 2-column, I guess. Actually, we're going to use Column Pro because Columns Pro will make it a little bit easier. Okay. So, here I'm going to use Columns Pro. I've this top one will be my sidebar, okay, and the bottom one will be the main content, okay. For easiness, I'm going to give this BG black, okay, and on the sidebar, and let's just chuck in a bunch of content into here. Okay, and let's preview. There we go. So just by default, the columns will match height. And obviously I made this 50-50, but then you would make this, probably, I don't know, 25%, something like that. Oops. What did I do? Oh, on small. Let's just do inherit. Right. Does that make sense?
I'm silent. I don't know what to say. It's so easy.
Yeah, they behave like that now. If in the Columns Pro, if I change the vertical alignment to something other than this, that won't work anymore. So like if I make the vertical alignment middle, okay, that is now gone. Okay.
Yeah.
But the default behavior of inherit or stretch is actually the default behavior. So inherit and stretch is going to be the same. Okay. But that will make the 2 columns the same.
And it doesn't matter what I put into that column. If I put one column in it with padding or anything.
No, yeah, no problem. So yeah, if I can, obviously, like in here, yeah, you have no padding, because I was just putting junk in there, right? But if I just chuck that in there, here, hold on, let's just delete all of these text stacks. Come on. Extract that. So there you go. So now we have a little gutter, right? Because I added some padding with a container there. So there you go. And you can add whatever you want here too, right? So just make this alt. Okay. There you go. As you see here, the sidebar is actually larger than the content, but it still works. Yeah. Right? Okay.
Pretty simple. Sweet. Thanks.
No problem.
Very well.
Any other questions, guys?
Well, I'm playing with that toggler stack now.
There we go.
Are you sure you want to hear this? No, it's fine. I'm trying to, when I hover one section, here, let me share the screen. There you go. So when I hover this section, I want the others to go a little 50% opacity, which works fine.
Cool
but when I hover off, the transition doesn't work.
What do you have the transition class set to? Is it set to the class that you're toggling?
Yeah.
No. You want to set the transition to class to be something that isn't going to, because okay. So let's think about this. Show me all the classes that you're using.
Okay. So it's this one, which is the toggler itself.
All right, and you're toggling. What are you targeting with that?
Give me a second. Man, Zoom kills my performance. My machine gets so much slower. So that toggler, the changer toggler, is toggling the opacity. Okay, on.
Yeah, but what is the swatch selector class? Changer.
Changer.
Okay.
Changer,
so
trigger, and it's
change the
opacity.
transitions to be changer.
Okay. Well, this is not going to be needed.
Oh, you public? Oh, we're looking at
published. Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing. Maybe it's faster than. Oh, okay. It's doing it.
There it goes.
Nice. Nice.
All right. So the reason, let's talk about the reason for this. So before you were adding that opacity class, right? I think it was the opacity class. Okay. And then when you were unhovering, you're removing that opacity class.
Of course, you're right. Yes. Yes.
So when you remove the opacity class, that transition is no longer applied to it.
Yep.
and it's no longer affected because you removed it. So you need to apply the transition to something that's still there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And is there a cleverer way than manually create? So, okay, I'm hovering one. Okay, let me share a screen again. So I'm hovering this box and everything works as expected. Hover this one and the same thing is what I did there. Now I just created another toggler called change or chew and applied the other class to all the other all the other boxes. So is there a more clever way to do that without creating a toggler for each section?
What you do is, so create a toggler that will do all, but then what you do is you, when you hover over a changer, you have an opacity swatch that makes it 1 with important. So you have a changer hover opacity 1 important. So that means that will override anything else, and it will force when you're hovering over a changer that it's always opacity 1. Does that make sense?
I get the idea. Yeah.
So essentially, you're forcing that to override the toggle.
Yeah, exactly.
The opacity toggle. So that is a perfect example of where the important button is exactly what you need. Because you're saying, I don't care what other rules are being applied, this wins.
Sure, I'll try that. Sounds cool.
Easy question, Joe. Last time you showed this button creation site here, neuromorphism.io.
Yes. Yeah.
How can I apply this code that's generated, this CSS code, to a button maybe, or maybe to a box?
So here,
it's
let's
so easy to create a nice looking thing.
Yeah. Okay, so so you could just if you take this, so it generates the CSS that you need right here. Okay, so you could just copy that. And there's two ways you can apply this. Either you can go and I don't know, use like a background swatch and choose CSS. Okay. And then just paste that right there. Okay. Or you can use a CSS swatch and paste it in. But the CSS swatch doesn't get you what's cool about the background is you can use all this selector stuff here, right? And then you can just paste the values in there. That's definitely the easiest way. Because in the CSS selector, you'd have to know the actual CSS selector and type it in there.
Yeah.
Okay. But with that said, I am going to be adding the ability to do these kind of cool box shadows with a one more stack that'll be added to the swatch pack. Because essentially this shadow is accomplished by layering two different shadows on top of each other. And right now the shadow swatch only allows you to have one shadow. So I'm going to have a more advanced shadow swatch that will let you layer shadows on top of each other. And at that point, you can do the same exact effect with that swatch.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Yeah, I tried this with a CSS swatch, and then I was not able to apply to some elements.
Okay. So yeah, the background swatch should work perfect.
Yeah. Good idea.
Sweet. Any other questions, guys, before we call it a day?
Did you have a look at my problem with the submenu items not opening on mobile.
Submenu items not opening on mobile. Oh, that's the one. I think I said I wasn't able to replicate that.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have the URL handy really quick?
I can share my screen.
Oh, sure.
If you want.
Good night, Jeff.
Good night. See you Friday.
By the way, that bag importing worked beautifully. Perfect.
Sweet.
Fantastic.
I think I'll just, I was trying to see what I need to share on this. Security and privacy for this. Okay. And I'll share, what I'll do is I'll share the URL. It's probably going to be easier.
Sure.
Right. Copy. Chat.
There we go.
So go to that. But it works perfectly on a desktop. Yeah.
All right. So on desktop, it works just as you want, right? You can get to the reefs and all that jazz. But then now is it on an actual mobile device or just when you
on an actual mobile device.
Oh, really? Interesting. So if we do,
if you go to the emulate on RapidWeaver, the one that you don't like, so that would work. Yeah, there it goes. There you go. If you hover over reefs.
Oh, if you hover over reefs, got it. It displays on hover instead of on click. Oops, what did I click there?
Sorry, I don't. Yeah, the site's not finished, so I've hidden most of the rest of this. Yeah,
okay, got it. So you hover over. Okay.
Yep.
This is what is this? Is it an accordion menu or what is it?
It's stolen from Davide.
Actually, I think I saw that one before. It's something related to the background color of the sub items, if I remember well. If you set it to black, you wouldn't have that problem. I mean, because right now, right now the background color of your menu items is set to transparent. Probably set it to black, and everything will work as expected. I saw that one before.
Yeah, boom. It's an accordion. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like it was doing it on hover instead of on tap. But I guess on mobile you don't have tap? Hover anyway. So
no.
Okay. Well, hopefully Davide's solution works out for you. Let me know if it doesn't, and we'll debug it some more.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Sweet. Well, guys, anything else before we call it a day? I saw Chris got back, so we got to get out of here.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Ruin the party.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you very much for coming on today. I love these. Remember, if you haven't joined Fridays, we do this every Friday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific, so 30 minutes from right now, your time, though. I know that's late for some of you over in Europe, but hey, I think there's more Europeans that join on Fridays than anybody else, anywhere else. So come on in. It's a party.
Euro styles.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for coming in with your questions, everybody. I had a good time. It was fun. So we'll see you on Friday or next week. Take care, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.